Федералка. Восточная часть федералки.
Fighters from the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine have delivered another powerful blow to Russian forces in Zaporizhzhia region, dismantling a significant portion of enemy equipment and fortifications during a week of continuous operations. In an aggressive response to Russian attacks, and as part of Ukraine's active defense strategy, the Defense Intelligence Special Forces successfully neutralized a wide array of Russian military assets. The toll on enemy equipment includes 37 transport vehicles, 25 armored vehicles, 2 tanks, 7 mortars, 19 artillery systems, 9 strike and reconnaissance UAVs, 5 communication systems, 6 units of electronic warfare, and signals intelligence equipment. Ukrainian forces also destroyed or damaged over 150 Russian engineering and fortification structures. In terms of personnel, 24 Russian soldiers were eliminated, and another 128 suffered non-lethal injuries. The operation once again highlights the skill, precision, and resilience of the defense intelligence operatives as they continue to degrade Russian capabilities along key front lines. Tensions remain high in the Zaporizhzhia region as Ukrainian forces continue targeted operations against Russian positions along the front lines. Over the past 24 hours, several localized attacks have been reported near Robotyne and Verbov, where Ukrainian infantry units are probing Russian defenses, aiming to disrupt supply lines and fortifications. Russian sources claim they've repelled multiple assaults, but Ukrainian military officials suggest these maneuvers are part of a broader strategy to test weak points and gather intelligence. Drone reconnaissance activity has surged in the area, with numerous strikes reported against Russian artillery emplacements and command posts. Meanwhile, civilians in Orikhiv and surrounding settlements remain under constant threat, with artillery shelling causing new damage to infrastructure. Ukrainian authorities continue to call for increased international support to strengthen air defenses in the region. Energy infrastructure remains a key target. Ukrainian forces reportedly launched precision strikes on Russian-controlled fuel and ammo depots deep behind the lines, aiming to weaken Russia's logistical backbone. Both sides are reinforcing their positions, signaling that Zaporizhzhia remains a critical axis in the conflict, where momentum could shift quickly. Tensions remain high in the Zaporizhzhia region as Ukrainian forces continue targeted operations against Russian positions along the front lines. Russians, carrying body bags with their fallen comrades on their shoulders, surrounded by a pile of destroyed equipment and Ukrainian drones overhead, the romance of Russia's special military operation.
Федералка. Восточная часть федералки. Тут недалеко подняли.
Недалеко?
Ну, на 2 палочки. На, сваливать. Судьбу испытывал, блядь.
Swedish JAS-39 Gripen fighter aircraft, which have been patrolling NATO's airspace from Poland since April, were launched for the first time to intercept a Russian aircraft. The NATO Air Command reported this on its official account. 2 Gripen fighter aircraft took off from the Malbork Air Base and conducted a visual identification of the Russian Il-20M surveillance reconnaissance aircraft. The identification took place in international airspace over the Baltic Sea, north of the Polish coastline. For the first time, as part of NATO's enhanced air policing mission, Swedish Gripen jets were scrambled in response to a Russian aircraft close to NATO airspace, the statement noted. It was also noted that the work of the Swedish pilots, who are on duty in Poland alongside the British, demonstrates flawless integration. The interception was performed under the guidance of NATO's Combined Air Operations Center in Wedum, Germany. Since April, Swedish fighter jets have started patrolling the airspace of NATO allies in the northern surveillance zone of the North Atlantic Alliance from Polish territory as part of the enhanced air policing mission. This is the first time since the country's accession to NATO. This mission was established after Russia's illegal annexation of Crimea from Ukraine in 2014. Along with the aircraft and pilots, technical personnel will also arrive in Poland to service the JAS-39 Gripen jets on the ground. Over the past week, British Typhoon fighters involved in the NATO Baltic air policing mission were scrambled 3 times to identify and escort Russian aircraft. Fighter aircraft are launched into the air because Russian planes switch off their transponders and approach too closely to the airspace of NATO countries. The lack of such a signal makes it impossible for civilian air traffic controllers to identify the aircraft and creates a potential threat to civilian aviation routes. These flights are aimed at reconnaissance, provocation, and showing force. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The time of the United States being the sole guarantor of European security has passed. It's long overdue. Europe has to step up and lead NATO.
America first doesn't mean America alone. It means we expect our allies to step up, to be true force multipliers for freedom. This approach ensures we achieve peace through strength. The time of the United States, here in Pennsylvania, here in our country, being the sole guarantor of European security has passed. It's long overdue. Europe has to step up, military, and lead. NATO.
The aftermath of the Russian missile attack on Kyiv. This is a residential building. There might still be people under the debris. There are also reports that another residential building might have been damaged by a Russian drone. A very difficult night in Kyiv. Denmark has decided to increase its military presence on the strategic island of Bornholm, located in the Baltic Sea between the coasts of Sweden and Poland. According to the Danish newspaper DR, the Danish government has decided to strengthen the army's presence on Bornholm Island and deploy a new unit there due to the changing security situation in the region. To do this, they allegedly plan to create a new regiment that will patrol the island and, in the worst-case scenario, take over its defense. While the standard size of a regiment typically numbers around 1,000 personnel, the size of the planned unit hasn't yet been disclosed. Currently, there are about 200 soldiers of the Reconnaissance Battalion of the Guards Hussars Regiment on the island. It is allegedly planned to be relocated to a new location, and the island will be entrusted to a newly created unit. Denmark keeps troops there for a reason. This Danish island has a history of occupation. Immediately after Germany's surrender in World War II, Soviet troops occupied the Danish island as a way for the Kremlin to establish control over the Baltic Sea Straits. But this occupation lasted less than a year. Bornholm is located near the borders with Russia, Germany, Poland, and Sweden, making it an important geopolitical hub between Eastern and Western Europe. The island controls the entrance to the Baltic Sea, which is an important trade route.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.